What makes a great CV? You ask 100 people, you get 100 different answers, but this is my take on what makes a good CV. We've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of hiring managers in the B2B marketing tech space. This is particularly orientated for candidates in that area. So starting from the top, I'll go straight through. It's going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but if you want a copy of this template, please drop a comment in the post and I'll be happy to whiz it across to you. So name, address, email address, contact number. You'd be surprised how many people don't have these full details on. So I know it's basic stuff, but please get it on. If you're living somewhere and you want to relocate, put it on your CV, because if you're going to apply to a job in London and it says Manchester, they're going to think it's too far to travel, but actually you're going to relocate. So put the fact that you're happy to relocate. Now, a bit controversial. Some people have a summary at the top. I've spoken to loads of hiring managers. They don't tend to read that. They certainly don't read it when deciding to invite you in for an interview. They might read it once you're having the interview. But to be honest with you, most people's summary sections don't say anything about you anyway. So if you are going to write a summary section, talk to a very particular person. You need to get laser focused on the problem that you're solving, how you go about solving that, for what types of companies, etc. Think about marketing and doing ABM type stuff. Don't be bland with your summary. I'm happy to work on my own, happy to work in teams. I can work for small companies, big companies. It's just too bland. So if you're going to write a summary, get really, really specific on it. I just go for this bold title here that you can see. I think in today's job market, in 2024, you're going to get a job pretty close to what you're doing right now. And if you think about yourself as a B2B tech marketer, you're either going to be a generalist or a specialist. And if you're a specialist, you might be demand gen, product marketing, content, digital, marketing operations, whatever it might be. Let's let that sing right at the top. Underneath, we've got some key skills. I could probably improve this. It's been a little while since I've done this template. So certainly the formatting isn't great. So please don't do that. But I'd be thinking about, if you were to think about a book, this top bit is going to be almost like the title of the book. Then this section underneath is going to be like the key chapters. And if you think about yourself as a person, it's the stuff, it's your core skills, 5 or 6 really good core skills. Then we're going to have your education. Now you can put this at the top or you can put this at the bottom. It's entirely up to you. You've got your personal certifications. Key skills is really important, especially with all the tools that we've got these days. You'd be surprised how many jobs say, look, I want a demand gen person, but I want them to have known HubSpot or Marketo or Eloqua, whatever it might be. So get stuff down here. Don't put really basic stuff on like Microsoft Office or whatever it might be. Try and use more, things that really actually take some skill to use. Hootsuite, I guess you could say that's a bit more simple, but that's on there. Then we're going to rattle into our work history. Now, this is where most people fall down. And I think this is where you can improve things to help you get more traction in the job market today. Like I said, you're probably going to get a job fairly close to where you are right now. So part of this is positioning. Most people just have a company name and then they roll into their role. Now, unless you know that company, you're not really going to know what they do and who they do it for, i.e. what you're marketing and who you're marketing for. As a marketer, you'll be fully aware that being a product-led marketer, driving traffic into a website and converting that website and not using a sales team is very different in terms of a marketing skill set from somebody who's marketing £1 million software, 18-month to 2-year sales cycles, etc. So the marketing skills needed in those different types of jobs is quite different. And because of that, when you're thinking about inviting somebody in for an interview, you're going to be thinking about, okay, well, how translatable are their skills and experience to what my business does? I'm a SaaS business. I have an annual recurring revenue or annual contract value of about 10 million, 20 million. I'm looking for marketers that have been operating in a similar sort of environment. Now, you might say that's a bit narrow-minded, but that is how the job market is working at the moment. So this sentence here, and we could probably get a little bit more detailed on this. This sentence here is really key because it describes what the company does. What are you marketing? Who is the audience? And you could go even more granular and talk about annual contract values and stuff like that. So this is a key sentence to get in. This then is an overview of your job. All jobs vary. If you had 10 marketing managers next to each other, the jobs that they do would be quite different. So this is your opportunity to kind of position what you do for the business. And it's just a very high level sentence around what you are there to do and achieve. And then underneath responsibilities. Now I keep it fairly concise. We don't want to ram this whole CV with loads of text. The whole purpose of it is to garner a little bit of interest and to them to think, ooh, I really want to find out more about this person. Let's book an interview. And that's as simple as it. It's not to tell your story, war and peace. So it's similar to a web page. We're going to have loads of white space, but we also want the stuff to pop a bit. And this is where this responsibilities come in. We're going to bold out these key areas that your job role is responsible for. And these are typically the areas that you're going to see in a job description you're going to be applying to too. Most people, whether it be a talent acquisition person, a HR person, a line manager, marketing leader, or even a recruitment agency, you'll spend less than 30 seconds looking at a CV. So we want to get your experience across really quickly. And by creating these little sections here of these bolded up bullet points, it achieves that. It makes it pop out, makes your experience pop out. And you're just creating a very, very short sentence or two after each area. Again, we don't want to go into too much detail. That's for an interview. You can talk about that when you get there. This is to garner that interest, to pique that interest. They're thinking, yes, I want to get this person in for an interview. So you don't want too many bullet points. I mean, this role is quite a broad marketing role, so you have got quite a few different responsibilities. That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't go any more than that, but try and group things. And they do need to mirror the types of jobs that you're applying to. So that's that section here. Biggie here, achievements. Now, I know it's tricky in B2B. Some companies are able to attribute stuff to marketing. Some companies aren't. I know that if you've been with a company for a short period of time, you maybe haven't been able to see the results, see the fruits of your labor. But you'd be surprised how many line managers will not interview candidates in B2B tech if they're not showing ROI or achievements, because ultimately that's showing you being a commercial marketer. You know, okay, we need to do marketing, but there has to be a return on that investment. So this achievement section under each one is super, super important. And try and get as granular as you can in terms of the stuff that you've done. Maybe sometimes people use percentages, which is fine. But if you can talk about revenue, that is amazing. But 2 or 3 bullet points here. Don't ram it full of 6, 7, 8 bullet points. You want to pick out like 2 or 3 really high impact achievements and stick them under this section here. Then you're going to follow the same format. Now, if you are quite experienced, and this probably demonstrates it here, as you go further down your career, you want to minimize the amount of space in your CV that you're dedicating to it. So if you've had 5 jobs, the job that you've been doing most recently is really going to get you the job that you're going to get next, or the most recent 2. The job you did 5 jobs ago is going to be of less relevance now. So we want to minimize it. And by doing that, then you don't have a CV that's like 4, 5, 6 pages long. 2 pages, 3 pages tops is absolutely fine. I then have a recommendation section at the bottom. You could pull some recommendations off some of your line managers. I think that's quite a nice ad. And then we've got some additional education and qualifications. Some people go into interests and stuff like that, but that's for another time. I don't think that's really going to help you get an interview. I don't think somebody's going to read your CV and go, oh, actually, Matt loves cooking. I'd love to get him in for an interview. So I don't really see the relevance here. We want to keep it focused on your work. So in 10 minutes, that's a whistle-stop tour of what I think makes a really good CV. If you've got any thoughts or any comments, please leave them below. Happy to answer them. And like I said at the start, if you want a copy of this template, please drop me a comment in the post and I will whiz it across to you. Happy job hunting.